Hello, my name is Jennifer and I'm going to do a 30-minute yoga session for you today. I was told to keep it 30 minutes, so we'll see how that goes. Our focus today will be on strength work because I think a lot of us haven't been in the gym and we need to focus a little bit more on strength. I know I've been getting a lot of cardio in, so I'm going to make this slow moving. If something feels awkward and doesn't feel right for you, stop, come out of it, and just go to a child's pose. But make this practice work for you and use options. If you have props around, use your props, but it'll be challenging in the way we'll be holding in poses and moving very slow, so be prepared for that. I have 2 mats just so that I'm going to be moving around a little bit so that you can see me on my mats when we do down dogs and planks and such. I'll shift the way I'm positioned, but you just stay how you are, just as you were in class. We're going to start seated and we're going to complete our class seated today. So if you want that Shavasana, just turn it off at the end and settle into your Shavasana and enjoy that time for you. We're going to start some simple movements. We're going to bend side to side a couple of times. We'll take it around, so some twists, some cat-cow, just to get our body moving. Come with me on pace, or feel free to go slower or faster if you would like. Thinking grounding energy today, we're going to start with your right hand next to you. We're going to bring your left arm up, and I want you to push into your right hand, reach out of your left hand, take an inhale and an exhale as you bend. Inhale to transition, exhale to bend. Breathing deep down to the lowest part of your belly. Connecting, coordinating your breath in some way with your movement. A few more rounds. We're just trying to move the spine a little bit. Waking up our body, push into that grounding hand, again reaching out of that top arm. Let's go one more round with your bends. And then bring it back to the center, sitting tall out of your sits bones. And as we work through our twist, I want you to be anchored down through your seat, just moving from your waistline up. Use the energy and the strength from your arms to push you and move you into the twist. Right hand behind you, back of your left hand on the outside of your right thigh. Slowly turn the chest, turn through the neck. And then inhale to transition and exhale to twist. Again, hold it on each side if that feels right for you. I get my range by pushing into that leg and pressing into this grounding arm, and I like to work a really, really, really deep twist. Noticing how far you can turn your chest. Can you see the spot on the wall directly behind you as you move through your twist? One more time to the left. And then just bring that back to the center. Let's take a little chest opener. Bring your hands behind you. I'm going to turn so you can see. I want you to interlace your fingers and roll your shoulders back and extend your arms down, and then begin to move your arms up away from your back body. And then go ahead and release that opening. Coming to eagle arms. We'll start with one option first. Inhale to open your arms out. Exhale, we're just going to hug yourself for a moment. Right elbow over left. See if you can wrap your fingers around the shoulder blades. Bring your chin to the chest and push your shoulder blades apart. And breathe that space into your upper back. Inhale to open. Exhale, left elbow over right. See if you can get your fingers around the shoulder blades, chin to chest. And let your breath push your shoulder blades apart. And on this next round, you're going to repeat that, or you're going to come to eagle arms. Right elbow over left elbow, wrapping your arms around each other. Your left fingertips would be into the right palm, the palm of your right hand, fingers open. Lift the elbows up, chin to chest. Move your elbows out, or your forearms out. Inhale to open. And exhale, left elbow over right. This time your right fingertips would be into the left palm. Your left hand is open. Bring the elbows up, chin to chest. And notice a really nice deep opening just behind that left shoulder blade. Go ahead and open completely and just bring your arms to your side. We're now going to move to cat-cow. So your hands will be under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. I'm pushing the whole hand down into the mat. So think of this as an opening for the palm of your hand. The hands are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. Find that tabletop, that neutral spine. And then cat is when we round your spine up, spinal flexion. That's your exhale. And inhale, move through to your cow. Cat is flexion of your spine. Cow is moving into extension of the spine. And just one more round of your cat-cow. And then back to neutral. When we are in neutral spine, the shoulder blades are back, not pinching the spine. The abdominals are keeping your rib bones in line with the shoulder blade. So that's the work of your abdominals. We're going to slowly work to a downward facing dog. So take it slow. Feel it every step of the way. Push down into your hands. Press into the toes. You curled your toes under. Now just begin to just lift your knees just off the mat. And then go a little bit higher with the hips. And then begin to extend your knees. And from the hands, push yourself back into that downward facing dog. Press down into your hands. And let's go ahead and alternate your heel presses. So I'm moving the feet. This is a nice opening for the bottoms of your feet, the backs of your legs. But as I'm moving through my feet, my legs, my hips, I am strong and anchored through my hands. As you're working through alternating the heel presses, if you can't typically get both heels down, can you at least get one heel down at a time? Is that doable for you? If getting them both down at the same time is not where you are at this time or today. Nice. Go ahead and push the heels down into the mat. Press into the hands and move yourself a little bit closer. Feel where you're grounded, your hands, your toes, the balls of your feet, maybe the heels. And from this downward facing dog, let's go to all fours to a child's pose. Remembering, anytime you need a child's pose in your practice, in any practice you're doing, please feel free to take yourself there. So some more strength work from down dog to plank. We'll eventually get onto the feet. Step back to your plank pose. Let's go to downward facing dog. Notice the feet, they're about hip width apart. And let's start by moving forward to your plank pose. And you can stay here and just hold your plank for a moment. Make sure you're not dumping into the hands or the feet, and we're not relaxing. We're fired up from the bottoms of your feet, your toes, your quadriceps, your glutes, your abdominals, your shoulders. You're reaching out the crown of the head. So noticing it's the abdominals and the hips and the quadriceps that are supporting you from the center. Back to your downward facing dog. Let's come back to plank with maybe a little bit more, adding some intensity if you want it. Bringing more space between the feet and the hands. Walk your hands forward so the hands are in front of the shoulders. And you're going to feel a little more intensity with that. Pull the arms in. You should be shaking a little bit. The hips are down. I don't want my hips up here. I want my hips down here. Abdominals are fired up. Back of your head is up. Reaching out the crown of the head and breathe. Breathe intentionally. Can you bring a little more work into your abdominals? A little more work into your quadriceps. Step your hands back under the shoulders. And let's take a downward facing dog. Coming back to plank, and we're going to slowly work our way to our belly to Sphinx pose. You can work it through a chaturanga, toes or knees up, knees down, or just somehow get yourself onto your belly. Elbows under shoulders. Sphinx pose. We're going to slowly work our way up to a forearm plank. Fingers wide. And we're going to start from the top down. Push the ribs up, the belly up, and the hips up. So right now I have my knees down, but my hips, my back is at tabletop. My hips are at shoulder height. And then if you want to go a little bit higher, curl the toes under and lift your knees up. Notice the position of your head. Whenever you're in a downward facing position, we don't drop the head. You keep the back of your head up. Your gaze is down, your abdominals are in, your glutes are on, your quadriceps are on, and you are breathing your way through this pose. More fire in the belly. And now let's begin to roll out of it. Knees down, quadriceps, hips, belly, chest up. And that should feel really, this should feel really nice to your abdominals. Nice. From here, we're going to just bring your hands back by the ribs and just roll up into just a little cobra pose. Squeeze your arms in and then come to your all fours to child's pose. A little bit more work and down dog plank. We'll be incorporating a high lunge from a down dog into this. So if you need to come to all fours for that transition, to go from down dog to high lunge, come to all fours. Just make the transition happen in a way that works for you. Let's go ahead and start in your downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, lift your knees up, press back. We're going to start with your right side. Now keep in mind, you don't have to go to a three-legged dog or a hip opener. Those are two options you can take. Let's start with your right leg. Inhale to float it up. Maybe bend the knee and maybe come to a hip opener. When I come into this hip opener, the weight down in my right hand does not shift. I am pushing into my right hand and I'm twisting that right hip up but you can certainly just come to a hip opener or a three-legged dog. Let's transition to a plank, pulling this right knee to the right elbow, and just pause for a moment. Push the floor away with the hands, press down into the left toes. Inhale, three-legged dog or down dog, or maybe hip opener. And then back to your plank, pulling that right knee to the left elbow, a little pause. Back to your down dog, three-legged dog, or hip opener. This time, moving your right foot between your hands. So align your hips, move that right knee forward, step it through, or off fours, or using your hand to push through. Push down into the feet, firing up your legs, your glutes. Bring your arms up by your ears, lift your chest, and then lift out of the hips. Nice, and bring your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, roll the shoulders back and down. Pull the shoulders back, push your chest and ribs forward, and reach out the crown of your head. Maybe a little bit more, push the fist down the back of your leg. Bring your arms back up. Bring your hands to the mat. Step back to your downward facing dog. Other side. Left leg floats up. Option to keep the foot down. Option to go to your hip opener. Again, we're not releasing weight off that left hand. You're pushing through that left hand. And then align the hips and move your left knee to your left elbow. Inhale back to your three-legged dog hip opener. And then bring that left knee to the right elbow. Back to your three-legged dog hip opener. And then move your left foot forward between your hands, however it can get there for you. Before you lift, anchor down. Ground. Move the arms up by your ears, lift your chest. Lift from the hips, take that deep inhale. Exhale, hands back. Begin to work through the back for that chest opener. Reach out the crown of the head. Again, if you want to go a little bit further with it, just work, push the fist down the back of your right leg. Push through the feet, pull your legs in, work through the hips, work through your glutes. Feel the fire in this right quadricep. Inhale to release your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down next to that foot. Downward facing dog. Coming back into plank, we're going to work a little vinyasa. Or not. Hold it, come down to chaturanga. You can have knees up or knees down. And hold the chaturanga if you would like, and then we'll release to your belly. So push your elbows down, hold, and then all the way down. Let's get a little work into the back. Let's start by just having your hands under your shoulders. Let's fire up the back, connect with your back. Lift the chest, bring your hands with it. Lift the toes and the knees. And maybe lightly touch the inner feet together. Reach out the crown of the head. The back of your head is up. Your shoulder blades are down. Now, maybe move the hands back into flight. Let's have palms down. So thumbs out, pinkies in. Pull the arms up a little bit higher. Press them in a little bit closer. Can you get a little bit higher? Slowly release. Stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands for a moment. Coming back to your all fours. Find neutral. We're going to work our way to downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Nice. Coming to standing forward fold. Roll up onto the balls of your feet. Move your feet to your hands. We're at standing forward fold. Finally, release yourself. Just grab opposite elbows and rock yourself side to side. From the standing forward fold, we're going to be transitioning to chair pose, a little Utkatasana pose. So working it a little bit differently. So I want you at the top of your mat. I'll turn this way. You're at the top of the mat. And let's just start to bend your knees. You're sitting back. The knees are behind the toes. And inhale to lift from the hips. Arms up by your ears, abdominals are in, knees behind your toes, feeling all four corners of your feet down into the mat. Just take some breaths. Inhale to come all the way up to your mountain pose. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart. So we're going to be working in and out of that chair pose for a few rounds. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, hold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale, release. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, lift from your hips. Exhale, hold. Sink a little deeper if you would like. Inhale all the way up, palms together, pull your hands to your heart. So doing a little work in chair, and then we're gonna just do a little bit of a sun salutation. Inhale to sweep your arms up. Exhale, sit into that chair pose. So this is gonna challenge you with some balance, strength, stabilization. Go as deep as you would like to go. Abdominals are in. Let's actually bring our hands to our heart for this. I want you to shift more weight into your left foot. And then take your right foot and step it out. You're on that right toe. You're going to feel this outer hip fire up and step it in. Inhale, the left foot steps out. Exhale, hold. Again, noticing the intensity through this right thigh, but also this left hip fired up. Push that toe down into the mat, into the floor. Step it in. Inhale to sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Left foot back. Staying down. Almost a crescent warrior, but we're not lifting. Take your right foot, step it back. And we're gonna work our chaturanga into cobra upward facing dog. Hold the chaturanga for a moment if you would like. When we work chaturanga, outwardly rotate from the shoulder, lowering down. You can shift your hands back, or if you're able to float through it, push yourself forward from your toes. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Nice. Left foot, three-legged dog, floats up. We're going to be stepping it between the hands, so work this transition in a way that works for you. Bend your knee, step it forward. We're going to be coming to standing splits. So, if you don't like that, you can just step your right foot next to your left foot right now. Or shift your weight down into your left foot. Come all the way up to your standing splits, or step your right foot next to your left. Can you get your nose a little closer to your knee? And then just step this right foot next to your left. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to release. Inhale to sweep your arms out. Lift out of the hips, palms together, pull your hands to your heart. We're gonna work that on the other side. I have to ask my camera person, Catherine, how are we on time?
25 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna do it in 5 minutes. Inhale to sweep your arms up. Exhale, sink into that chair pose. So we're gonna start by stepping down into this right foot and step your left foot out. Again, I want you to try to not to bring it just here, but see if you can bring it here. It's gonna be a little bit behind that right foot. And step it in. You can bring your hands to your heart if that's better for you. Step your right foot out. Nice. So I'm not shifting my weight that way. I'm keeping everything here, but I'm taking it out and I'm pushing it down. And step it back in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale, release. Your right foot steps back. Nice. And then step your left foot back. All right, let's work that little vinyasa, but we're taking it slow. Outwardly rotate from the arms, so as you move down, the elbows point back. You can hold your chaturanga, or you can float forward, or just come down, move your hands slightly back. Maybe you're here, maybe you're here. Curl toes under, downward facing dog. Right leg up, three-legged dog. Nice. And then bend your knee. Step your right foot next to between your hands. Standing splits or standing forward fold. If you're gonna go to your standing splits, shift your weight down into that right foot and fire from that foot up into the leg to left. Nice, just stay here for a moment. Maybe try to get the nose to the knee. And then your left foot stacks next to your right. Exhale completely. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale to release. Inhale to sweep your arms out. Lift out of your hips. Palms together. Pull your hands to your heart. We're gonna work our way to seated through a malasana pose. And there's ways to do it. If you can get into a malasana by totally bending the knees, coming to a complete deep squat, don't do it yet. This is just your option. Or you can come into chair pose and work your way seated from there. If you have blocks, you can certainly grab blocks. Inhale to sweep your arms up. Palms together. Exhale, slowly work to chair. Maybe deeper. Maybe you're gonna come all the way down. And we're gonna transition onto your seat into Navasana pose, boat pose. You might be here. You might bring your heels up. Maybe arms out, but shoulders are back. Side view. Toes are up. Open your toes, abdominals in. Just giving you that nice last little piece of abdominal work. Maybe straighten your legs. Maybe move your arms up. Or out. Or in. Again, you might stay here, but I'm hinged from the hip. And a lot of back work balanced with the belly work. Let's bring it up. Come to your staff pose. Toes are up. Find your sits bones. Nice. Fingertips behind you. Maybe you're just gonna work the staff pose from here. Maybe you might need to soften your knees a little bit. Maybe if you have a block or a pillow, you can bring that under your hips. If you bring your hips up, it might make it a little bit easier. And then last option, moving forward from the hips, maybe bringing your hands to the bottoms of the feet, but keeping the shoulders back. The back is flat, and I'm pushing my feet into my hands and I'm pulling my hands into the feet so that I'm really active and strong in this pose. But it's a really great opening for the back of the legs. Let's bring the hands behind us, going into a reverse plank. Extend your toes. Your fingers can be turned towards the seat or out a little bit. Shoulders are back. Take a deep inhale and exhale, move up into that reverse plank. So this is a really nice opening for the front of your hips that you were just using to help support the boat pose, Navasana pose. Again, I'm supporting my head. I'm not dropping my head. Support your head. And release. And let's just come to a seated forward fold, just like we do when we're standing. You can point the toes or push out the heels. I like my toes up. Inhale to sweep your arms up. And exhale, work to your forward fold. Again, you can soften your knees a little bit. Or keep them more extended. You can take your hands to your feet. And slowly roll it all the way up. Nice. And just come seated. Actually, let's bring our legs back out. I want to do one more twist. I like to end class with this twist. Options, I do it a lot at the end of class. Left leg, left knee up. You can step it over or keep it here. Last option before you go to your twist, or another option, bring this right leg around. You can work it this way, or you can bring that right elbow onto the outside of your right thigh, push into your left hand, kind of push back here. My spine is long, I'm not rounded, and I'm not leaning back. I'm over the pelvis. So set that alignment, and then work your twist. So you're gonna feel it in the spine, you'll feel it in the side body, but you also should probably feel it in the outside of your left hip. I feel it there because I'm kind of tight there, so it just depends on where you are. And slowly release and unwind and set it up for your other side. Right knee up or across, maybe left leg around. Both sides of my seat are on the ground. The energy down into your right hands, helping to support the position of your spine. Wrap the left arm around or bring that left elbow on the outside of your right thigh. Move yourself, push yourself to your twist. Look to the back of the room. And release. And find your seated position. Again, go ahead and just find a nice place in a corpse pose or side lying and stay as long as you might need. Finding that deep breath, finding that belly breath. On your next inhale, sweeping your arms out and up. Find your prayer. And as you exhale, slowly pull your prayer through to your heart center. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.